Two groups of monkeys, 20 years. 63% of one group died. 26% of the other did. The only difference was 30% fewer calories. This is the study almost every modern fasting-mimicking diet is built on. We are going to walk through what they actually ate, what we know now about whether it works in humans, and where the evidence is honestly still soft. Here is the setup. University of Wisconsin, started in 1989, ran for 20 years. 76 rhesus monkeys total. Half were calorie-restricted, eating 30% fewer calories than the other half, but with the same vitamin and mineral nutrients. The control group ate whatever they wanted, when they wanted, on a standard captive monkey diet that turned out to be high in sugar and animal protein. This is the closest model to humans we have for testing this question over a primate lifespan. At 20 years, here is what they found. 63% of the control group had died, against 26% of the calorie-restricted group. But the more interesting numbers are the disease numbers. 0 CR monkeys had developed diabetes or prediabetes. 42% of the controls had. Cardiovascular disease was cut in half. The CR monkeys did not just live longer, they lived without the chronic diseases that killed the others. There is a twist in the data that almost no longevity influencer mentions. The National Institute on Aging ran their own parallel monkey calorie restriction study at the same time, and it found essentially no difference between the CR and control groups. Why? Because the NIA control group was already eating a healthy, mostly plant-based diet. The Wisconsin control group was eating junk. The honest read is that calorie restriction wins by a lot when the baseline is bad, and barely moves the needle when the baseline is already healthy. So the question becomes, what are you actually comparing yourself to? So does this work in humans? The CALERIE trial is the only randomized human study of caloric restriction we have. 2 years, 12% calorie restriction, not 30. The result. The control group aged about a year per year, like normal. The CR group appeared to age only about a month per year over the same period. They also reported better mood, better sleep, better sex drive, less visceral fat, lower blood pressure, better insulin sensitivity. One caveat. We have no randomized lifespan data in humans, and we probably never will. The trial would take 80 years. If you zoom out, 3 independent lines of evidence all point in the same direction. The Wisconsin monkey study gives you the controlled experimental evidence. The CALERIE human trial gives you the modern randomized human evidence. The Okinawan centenarian data gives you the population-scale natural experiment, where people on a plant-heavy diet with only 9% of calories from protein had between 6 and 12 times fewer heart disease deaths than Americans. Different methods. Same biological signal underneath. Lower IGF-1, lower mTOR, more autophagy. If 20-year monkey studies are too abstract, here is the 1-year human version. The Lifestyle Heart Trial. 28 patients with established coronary heart disease. 23 of the 28 showed actual measurable reversal of arterial plaque after 1 year. Their arteries got cleaner. The intervention was a strict whole food plant-based diet. No animal products, no caffeine, 10% fat, plus exercise and stress management. 5 years out, PET scans showed continued improvement in heart disease abnormalities. This is the data point I think is most underused in modern longevity content. We have proof that diet can reverse the most common cause of death in the developed world. Cutting 30% of your calories every day for the rest of your life is not realistic for most people. Longo's solution was to compress the same biological signal into a short window. 5 consecutive days, once a month, of about 800 calories from plants. The other 25 days, eat normally. The randomized 100-patient trial showed significant body fat loss, lower IGF-1, the primary aging signal, lower glucose, lower blood pressure, lower waist circumference. And here is the key part. The effects persisted 3 months after the last cycle, so you do not have to do it constantly. Here is the part the headlines never tell you. The plate looked the same in every single one of these protocols. The Wisconsin monkeys, the Okinawans, the Biosphere 2 residents, the Ornish patients, and Longo's FMD all converge on the same kind of food. Mostly plants, mostly whole, mostly low glycemic. The calorie number is really a proxy for the food quality, because if you eat that kind of food, the calories drop without trying. So when you see someone framing this as just eat less, that is missing the point. The composition is doing most of the work. The honest list of what we still do not know. First, no randomized human lifespan data exists, and it never will. CALERIE was 2 years. An 80-year trial is not happening. Second, CR backfires under 18. Kids need to grow. Athletes building muscle should not be restricting calories. Third, calorie restriction past 65 may actually be harmful. Longo's own data shows protein restriction in older adults is associated with increased mortality, not less. The biology flips. Fourth, the short-term costs are real. Cold sensitivity, lower libido, muscle loss, social friction around food. Every trial reports this. And fifth, the most promising emerging finding is that you might not need actual restriction at all. Periodic fasting, low glycemic eating, and moderate protein appear to capture most of the same biology at much lower cost. If you want the benefit without the misery, here is the practical playbook. Eat the food, not the calorie count. Plant-heavy, low glycemic, low animal protein. The composition does the work. Compress your eating window. A 12-hour overnight fast minimum. 14 to 16 if you are comfortable. Try one FMD-style cycle. 5 days at about 800 plant-based calories. See how your body responds. And measure the levers that actually move first. Waist circumference. Fasting glucose. IGF-1 if you have access to it. These will tell you within weeks whether you are actually engaging the biology or just suffering for nothing. The researchers behind everything we just walked through. Longo, who built the FMD protocol from this monkey data. Gregor, who synthesized the CALERIE trial and the Okinawan dietary data. Ornish, who ran the heart disease reversal trial. Murphy, the molecular biologist on the underlying mechanisms. And Hyman, who has written most accessibly about the calorie restriction mimetic compounds. If you want the rest of this series, the long-form video on autophagy is already up, and so is the short on the broccoli mistake. Thanks for watching.